Hey guys, welcome back to the channel today. So today I'm going to be reviewing the 2019 film Yesterday. Now Yesterday is a film that's directed by Danny Boyle and stars Himesh Patel and Lily James. Now before we get into the review itself, I want to say I was really excited for this movie. This might be probably my most anticipated movie of the year. Ever since I first saw the trailer for it, I've just been super stoked. I absolutely love the Beatles. If you don't know the concept of the movie, it's basically Himesh Patel's character wakes. He's a singer-songwriter who's struggling. He's about to give up. He gets hit by a bus during a strange power outage that happens basically all around the world. And when he wakes up, he's the only person who remembers the Beatles. I personally love the Beatles. They're part of the reason I like music today. Actually, they are the reason I like music today. I first heard "Help" by them. I was like 6, 7 years old. That was the first song that got me into music. And I love to sing, and I just love music in general. I just find it really, relaxing, really calming, just a really good time. So I love the Beatles. I just love the Beatles music in general. But I was really excited for this film. So getting into the review, things I would definitely want to talk about. Cinematography, actually pretty good. I was not expecting that. Movie's really funny. It has a bunch of really good humor. It actually hits. It's really good timing. Acting is really good out of the main leads. Himesh Patel is phenomenal, and his singing is great. Honestly, his singing in this movie is just phenomenal. He takes these songs and makes them his own. The supporting cast is kind of forgettable. Joel Fry does a good job. He plays a character named Rocky, who's kind of like, I guess, like a roadie, kind of. He does a really good job, but it's like, outside of that, it's kind of just, it's like, oh, cool, they're there. Like, I know Ed Sheeran's in there, and so is Kate McKinnon, but their characters don't really shine. Editing is really good for the film. I don't really notice any bad cuts or anything like that. The score and soundtrack are obviously really, really good. The Beatles have so many great songs, and you really see just how many hits there are and how many hits they had as you go through the film, because basically he's trying to remember the lyrics to them. He's trying to, basically take the songs and make them his own, pass them up as his own. And that's not really a spoiler because you see them in the trailers, but, beware, I might get a little flack for that. Honestly, though, this is a really, really good concept. I really want to say this as well. I really enjoy the concept of this because it makes you take a in-depth look at what would have happened, what would change if the Beatles never existed. And there are little things in the film, you'll notice them as you go along. Little thing here or there. It's kind of exciting. It's kind of cool to see. Other really bright spots, I feel like pacing was solid. Again, I just really want to go back to the singing performances. They're really just quite outstanding. The story, again, is just really entertaining. Getting into, flaws of the film, there are some plot holes. We never really figure out why everything happens that happens. I'm kind of okay with that. It kind of makes you forget about it. But at the same time, as a writer, you have to take a look at that and it's just like, well, that doesn't really make sense. And there are certain things that just don't necessarily add up. The ending of the film is kind of rushed. I will say that. I think the pacing is really good throughout the entire film, but the ending is kind of rushed. And just how the ending goes down, I feel like there was a better way, if that makes sense. But again, at the same time, not a bad ending for the film. Personally speaking, this is probably one of my favorite films I've ever seen, just for the emotional standpoint. And I do want to say there's a scene in the last third of the film that actually brought me to tears. It is a really emotional scene. And if you see the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. At least I think you'll know what I'm talking about. But quite honestly, it's just one of the most beautiful scenes I've ever seen. Just for the meaning behind it. I would like to give Yesterday a fair rating. I'm going to give Yesterday a 4.2. I do think Yesterday is a good film. I think it's running around like a 61% Rotten Tomatoes right now. I think it's a lot better than that. There are holes in the story, but I don't really think they're that noticeable. But I have to give it a 4.2 because I can't give anything really higher than that because I don't feel like it really elevates anything. Definitely recommend seeing in theaters. It's a lot of big fun. If you like the Beatles, you're gonna have a great time. If you don't like the Beatles, I'm gonna understand when you may not be as big of a fan of this. Cause, I mean, that's kind of the whole appeal of it. If you like the Beatles, if you're interested in the Beatles, if you like, you know, music and kind of singing along. I'm gonna say it's not really a sing along movie, but you can, in a sense. If you like the Beatles, go see it. You're gonna have a really good time. If you don't like the Beatles, maybe not the movie for you, but it's still an enjoyable premise. It's a really good premise. It's still an enjoyable story. I think you'd enjoy it. I might go see this movie again, in all honesty. I really enjoyed it. But I'm going to cut it off here today, guys. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to have, new videos probably popping every Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, somewhere in that time frame. So that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.